It's that time again, Community Redraw, and we're going to have some fun in Deano DINOCLAWS DNA Dilemma. So, let's bring these illustrations to life. Has anyone seen Deano DINOCLAW? He hasn't shown up for the briefing he was meant to give on the elemental dinosaurs from Earth 289. That's odd. Said he was going to take a look at the dino species the boys in the labs were researching on. Rob's lost himself in his love of dinosaurs again. I've just come from the lab. He's not there. If you see him, tell him I'm looking for him. Yeah, right. Will do. Maybe. If I can be bothered. I mean, it is Dino what's his name. Meanwhile, Deano DINOCLAW had been sent to another dimension while looking at the specimens in the lab. It appears that he was transported to a dimension where the population is a species of advanced dinosaurs. These dinosaurs quickly surrounded our confused dino enthusiast, capturing him and taking him back with them. The first member of this group of dinosaur people was an evolved version of an ankylosaurus. This dinosaur was constantly eating a sweet-looking snack. Despite the sweet tooth, this dinosaur was clearly a warrior of sorts, carrying a heart-shaped spike mace which matched her tail. Yes, this first dino is female, and seemed to be in charge of the group as they took Deano DINOCLAW through a forest that was full of dense underbrush and easy to lose your way. What's going on here? Where are you taking me? Did the strange creature just speak? I wasn't expecting this. What are you and where are you from? I'm Deano DINOCLAW, and I think I somehow ended up in your dimension. I'm not entirely sure how it happened. Where is this place and where are you taking me? You'll find that out later, but this is a forest of lost souls. I advise you to stay with us if you want to make it out of this place alive. If you get lost in this forest, you'll die of starvation. Many end up dying. Looking at your small and weak stature, you won't last long. That's if you can get away. We may just decide to finish you here and now if you try anything. I'll take your advice for now. But where are you taking me? That being said, you all seem to be evolved humanoid versions of a species known as dinosaurs. It's fascinating. In my dimension, you all share similarities to these creatures. It was at this point, Deano DINOCLAW decided it would be a good idea to keep the fact that dinosaurs were extinct in his dimension in order to keep himself alive after the comment about finishing him off. As they continued to travel through the dense forest, Deano couldn't help but notice that the other dinosaurs in the group seemed to respect and listen to the one he had spoken to. He also found it rather interesting that this female dinosaur had pink scales and a pink heart-shaped mace on the end of her tail. She also seemed to be able to navigate the forest with ease, almost as if it was a natural ability to survive in this place. As they continued further through the forest, they came to a clearing with a giant energy dome. At the base of the dome was a large wall with what appeared to be a gigantic gate, with a pair of strange-looking dinosaurs guarding it. Where are we now? And what's with these guards? These wondrous creatures look like they are some form of enhanced dinosaurs. Intriguing, I wonder how the evolution progressed in these amazing species. The first dinosaur that Deano DINOCLAW could see was a large, very muscular dinosaur. It was clearly related to a species of Spinosaurus, but it had kind of armor on its skin and a spiked tail similar to that of an ankylosaur. What species is that one over there? You mean the big guy with muscles and armor? Yes, I do. It looks a rather interesting fellow. That's a Spinosaurus. His name is D9, and his species live in forests or in the depths of the ocean. Do you mean he can literally breathe underwater? But I can't see any gills. Despite his predicament, Deano DINOCLAW seemed relatively calm. Too calm, one would say. Being on the verge of seeming superly excited, inside he was holding his sheer joy and enthusiasm. It was like a dream had come true for him. He had always wanted to speak to and learn more about dinosaurs ever since he was a kid, although he was hiding his sheer excitement till it outweighed any fear he might have had about the current situation. Open the gate. We found something rather interesting we must take to the Elder Plains to decide what to do with it. What is that hideous thing? It looks so weak and fragile, and rather tasty. What an intriguing fellow. And how many teeth are there? What appears to be 2 rows? Wait, did he just say I was rather tasty? Are you sure I can't just have a taste? It's been a while since I've been here, and nothing good's ever brought over when on gate duty. Always seems to be me lately as well. Well, you are the biggest and strongest in terms of raw strength in the guards. Besides, you should see it as an honour that Elder Plains has such faith to give you such an important task. Now, let us through so we can sort what happens. Plus, if you do, I'll bring back some of my special sweet dishes that you like so much. Okay, I'll let you pass, but need to make sure that hideous thing does not create havoc. Otherwise, I will eat it on the spot before you even get the chance to see Elder Plains. Deano DINOCLAW, despite having the notion, if he was left alone with this rather big dinosaur, it wouldn't be too long before he was eaten in one bite. He couldn't help but wonder what kind of dinosaur this Elder Plain was, as he made his way in past the giant gates with the group who led him to this place. As the gates opened, there was a vast city that looked like it was designed for all the various species that lived there. Some sections had trees with buildings intermixed for species that fly and live in the forest. Other sections had giant lakes and waterfalls for those who are more aquatic in nature. But the bit that surprised Deano DINOCLAW the most was in the centre of the city. The buildings and structures began to get more advanced and tech looking. It was like each area is designed for a set purpose for those who live there. It was a sight far beyond anything imaginable. The sweet Dinosaur took Deano DINOCLAW into a room with what looked like several pads with glowing lights on it. She told him to stand on one of the pads, and she stood on another. All of a sudden, there was a blinding flash of light, and when it cleared, they'd both been sent deep into the centre of the city. To teleportation? What? How advanced are? He stopped mid-sentence, while his eyes caught a glimpse of two figures. As his vision began to clear, he realised there were two raptors standing in front of him. The first one caught his eye as they looked like some form of cyborg, a hybrid of technology, although a bit rustic looking in colour, and a dinosaur. It was clear it had been in some form of accident or explosion. Half of its body was cybernetic from the waist down. One of the arms was also completely cybernetic. This one had red hair and a cybernetic eye on the side of the face that had the scar. It was something that took Deano DINOCLAW by surprise. At the same time, he was in awe at this hybrid standing before him. The technology and skill to do this was beyond anything he expected from an evolved species of dinosaurs. Advanced structures maybe, but a full cyborg was the last thing he expected to see. Hey, sweet mate, what have you got there? If you're here, you must be going to see Elder Plains. Not sure if the Elder is about, but I can take what you have there to see the Elder, if you want. Might have to study it. Maybe it needs a few cybernetic enhancements to stop it looking so weak. What was that about cybernetic enhancements? That's not going to happen, is it? Cyror, stop messing and teasing the poor creature. You know as well as I do, its fate is up to Elder Plains. It's not for you nor I to decide. I know, but the thing's fate was a sight though, wasn't it? What is it? Perhaps I can answer that. I'm what is called a human. I'm also not from around here. A human? What's a human? My eyes show you have little threat to use in comparison to others in the city. In fact, you seem so frail that you might get injured if some bump into you. Although, it might be unfair, but with my cybernetics, I could finish you off quickly. I doubt that's anything special to this human, was it? Are you done? We need to see the Elder. Do you know where Elder Plains is? I think the Elder is in the lab. You know, how much the science and project stuff takes up the Elder's time? All of a sudden, the feathers on Cyror became sharp and turned into a set of knives. Cyror then asked Sweetmace if he could study the human in a bit more detail. Maybe just open up a little bit and see how it works? Or just test his reflexes with a throwing game? Sweetmace turned to Deano DINOCLAW and gave a look as if she was contemplating it. So at this point, she turned back to Cyror and with a smile and told him, best not, but if the Elder does want to see how this human works, I'll be sure to mention you want to take part. Cyror turned to the raptor who was there and said to take them to the Elder's lab. Truly fascinating. I hope you're not going to dissect me or anything. Do you think this Elder Plains would do such a thing? That would be for Elder Plains to decide. I expect the Elder will want to learn more about you though. I guess that's understandable. I'd like to know more about this world and all of you as well, but not to the point of dissection. As interesting as that may be, it's rather cruel and barbaric. Anyway, this one here walking with us doesn't say much. Can you tell me more about them? Sweetmace looked at the raptor. The raptor looked back and nodded. This fella is called Rhizornicus. It means sharp claw. And as you may have guessed, looking at them, it's an apt name. Not one for words, this is an expert in speed and stealth, fast and agile. I wouldn't go too close to the claws and spikes though. They have a venom that's extremely potent. If it happens to get into your bloodstream, you'll be paralysed for hours. Well, in your case, it could be days or maybe even kill you. You're so frail. I wouldn't want to be tracked by this guy either. Able to see fast distances and a sense of smell that is second to none. This fella has been responsible for tracking down and eliminating or capturing those who commit crimes or escape punishment. As you can tell by the slightly smaller frame, Sharpclaw is an expert fighter, able to take on those larger and stronger. He also has a rather unique ability. He can camouflage at any time. His species is truly wondrous. Active camouflage and a form of neurotoxin. I would love to learn more. Although, the only concern I do have is everyone we have encountered is gigantic in size. I'm not surprised at this, but as you keep mentioning, I am rather frail in comparison to you all. Can I suggest that you all remember I'm here? I would prefer not to be trampled underfoot. I am fascinated to find out what kind of dinosaur this Elder Plains is. It seems that you all respect this Elder, no matter what species you are, or combination of species. The Elder is one who has watched over us since recorded time. Elder Plains is knowledgeable and has brought peace to the species in the city. You'll soon find out enough just what kind of great leader Elder Plains is. Sharpclaws, since we have a bit of a way to go, fancy showing your skills off to this human here? Might be entertaining to show it just to see the difference in strength between us. With that, Sharpclaws smiled and nodded, before darting to the side and vanishing from sight, appearing and disappearing like a ghost. It was a truly awe-inspiring display of ability and skill. It was like a dance was being performed. It made some time fly by, and it wasn't long before they got to the entrance of Elder Plains' lab. Are we here? This looks like a rather high-tech building. We have finally reached Elder Plains' lab. Here, the Elder will decide what happens to you. Deano DINOCLAW and Sweetmace entered the lab. There was a look of shock and wonder on Deano DINOCLAW's face at what stood before them. Standing there was the strangest looking dinosaur he had ever seen. A tall, almost insect-like creature with scaled armor plates over its body, 2 large spikes on the shoulders, and what appeared to be 6 eyes. Deano DINOCLAW was in a state of excitement and confusion. Was this some form of prehistoric insect species, or was it something else? I've brought a strange creature I found in the woods. It says it's a human. A human, you say? Okay, you may go. I'll see what this human is and decide what has to be done with it. With that, Sweetmace left. It was just Deano DINOCLAW and Elder Plains in a room. The lab was then sealed, and Elder Plains looked up and down, examining Deano DINOCLAW before asking a few questions and answering a few. The biggest surprise that he told DINOCLAW was that even though he is a dinosaur, the Elder was a dinosaur that came from another distant planet, and with the use of the knowledge and advanced technology, helped the species of this planet to evolve and become the humanoid inhabitants of the city. After a while, Deano DINOCLAW was more than fascinated with information he was given and agreed to a few tests in the advanced machinery in the lab. The machinery that would not dissect him, but scan and give some data about what a human is to the Elder. Deano DINOCLAW agreed to this and entered the chamber that would scan him. This was perhaps his biggest mistake. Although the Elder scanned and gathered a vast amount of information on the human species, Elder Plains came to the conclusion that the species was far too weak to survive in this world amongst those in the city, let alone outside of the city. The Elder took it upon itself to make sure Deano DINOCLAW would be able to survive in this harsh, strange world until he could get back to his own. Apologising to Deano DINOCLAW, the Elder said this was the only way and pressed a few buttons. The chamber started to fill with gas. It wasn't long before you could not see Deano DINOCLAW anymore. A heavy thud of something slamming against the chamber again and again and again and again started to happen, until after several minutes it finally stopped. As the door opened, there was a gigantic creature in the chamber. The Elder was pleased with changing Deano DINOCLAW into a dinosaur hybrid creature. He turned to unlock the lab, when all of a sudden there was a loud roar from the creature. Turning around, the Elder could see that something was wrong. This dinosaur version of Deano DINOCLAW began to revert back to its human form, and as he fell to the floor, his right arm was still in the form of a dinosaur. However, it was in the proportion of the rest of his body. Thank you everyone who submitted your artwork for the Community Redraw. Had a hard time choosing for this one, but I loved all the artwork and your lore and your stories. It was absolutely amazing. Special thanks go to our winners, Stella Kitsune 874, D9 Flow, The Dice Roller, Space Raptors Infinite and Uniform Banjo 740. Your designs were great and they were chosen this time. I hope you like how they all came out in Deano DINOCLAWS DNA Dilemma. Now on to the moment you've all been waiting for. Details for the December redraw. And I'll have to do a small apology. The deadline for this will be the 16th of December. It's a little bit shorter than normal, but it will be worth it. So the theme for this one is to create your own original character. Include a headshot and a body shot, the name of the character, a little bit of little background about the character themselves, but not too much because they're going to be put into a bit of a setting with our narrators and what abilities they have that could cause the narrators some trouble. There is a document linked in the description below to get all the information on that. Hope you guys have fun with that, and I'd love to see all your artwork and submissions. That's all for today's Community Redraw. Stay safe, everybody. Catch you next time.